In the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, there lived a young girl named Nneoma. She was a 19-year-old student at the University of Lagos, studying computer science. Nneoma was a brilliant and hardworking student, always striving to be the best in her class. Despite her dedication to her studies, Nneoma faced ridicule and mockery from her peers. They would often tease her, saying she was wasting her time studying so hard. As Nneoma walked to class one day, she overheard some of her classmates laughing and making fun of her. "Nneoma is so boring," one of them said. "She's always studying and never has any fun." Nneoma tried to ignore them, but their words stung. She began to wonder if she was indeed wasting her time. One day, Nneoma's lecturer, Professor Akintund, approached her after class. "Nneoma, I've been noticing your exceptional performance in class," he said. "I think you have great potential. Would you like to work on a project with me?" Nneoma's heart skipped a beat. This was the opportunity she had been waiting for. Nneoma eagerly accepted Professor Akintund's offer and began working on the project. It was a challenging task, but Nneoma was determined to excel. She spent long hours researching, coding, and testing. Her classmates continued to mock her, but Nneoma didn't let their words discourage her. As the weeks went by, Nneoma made significant progress on the project. She encountered obstacles and setbacks, but she persevered, using each failure as an opportunity to learn. Professor Akintund was impressed with her work and encouraged her to keep pushing forward. The project's deadline was approaching, and Nneoma was working tirelessly to complete it. She barely slept or ate, pouring all her energy into the project. Her classmates continued to mock her, but Nneoma didn't let their words affect her. The day of the project's presentation arrived, and Nneoma was nervous but confident. She stood before the panel of judges, including Professor Akintund, and presented her work. The judges were impressed, asking her thoughtful questions and praising her innovative approach. A few days later, Nneoma received an email inviting her to the annual University of Lagos awards ceremony. She was shocked and thrilled to discover that she had been nominated for the Best Undergraduate Project Award. On the night of the ceremony, Nneoma's heart was racing as the presenter announced the winner. And the winner of the Best Undergraduate Project Award is Nneoma. The audience erupted in applause as Nneoma made her way to the stage, beaming with pride. She accepted the award, thanking Professor Akintund, her family, and God. As Nneoma walked off the stage, she was met with congratulations and admiration from her peers. The same people who had mocked her just months before were now praising her. Nneoma's heart swelled with pride and vindication. Nneoma's family was overjoyed when she called to tell them the news. Her mother screamed with excitement, while her father beamed with pride. They immediately began making plans to celebrate. The next day, Nneoma's family threw her a big party. They invited all their friends and relatives and even hired a live band to play music. Nneoma was showered with gifts and praise, and she felt like a queen. As she looked around at the sea of smiling faces, Nneoma felt grateful for her family's support. They had always believed in her, even when she doubted herself. The day after the party, Nneoma woke up to find her phone flooded with messages and calls. She was confused until she saw the headlines on her social media feeds. Unilag student wins prestigious award. Meet Nneoma, the brilliant student who's taking the world by storm. Nneoma's award had caught the attention of the media, and she was suddenly in high demand. She was interviewed by several newspapers and magazines, and even appeared on a popular TV show. As Nneoma's fame grew, so did her confidence. She began to see herself in a new light, as a role model and inspiration to others. She started to receive messages from young girls all over the country, thanking her for being a beacon of hope. Nneoma was humbled by the attention, but she also felt a sense of responsibility. She knew that she had a platform, and she wanted to use it to make a positive impact. As Nneoma's fame continued to grow, so did the opportunities. She began to receive offers from top companies and organizations, all of whom wanted to associate themselves with the award-winning student. Nneoma was spoiled for choice, but she was determined to make the right decisions. She knew that she had a bright future ahead of her, and she was eager to make the most of it. As Nneoma looked to the future, she knew that she had to make some tough decisions. She had to choose between pursuing a career in Nigeria or abroad, and she had to decide whether to pursue a master's degree or enter the workforce directly. Nneoma was torn, but she knew that she had to make a decision. She took a deep breath, gathered her thoughts, and began to plan her next move. Nneoma spent the next few days weighing her options. She had always dreamed of working for a top tech company, but she was also tempted by the idea of pursuing a master's degree abroad. As she researched her options, Nneoma became increasingly confused. She didn't know what to do, and she felt like she was under pressure to make a decision. One day, as she was walking across campus, Nneoma ran into her friend and classmate, Emeka. Emeka was a computer science major, just like Nneoma, and he had always been someone she could turn to for advice. "Hey, Emeka," Nneoma said, falling into step beside him. "I'm having a major crisis. I don't know what to do with my life." Emeka laughed. "That's a pretty big decision," he said. "But I'm happy to help you brainstorm." Nneoma filled Emeka in on her options, and he listened thoughtfully. When she finished, he nodded. "I think I see your problem," he said. "You're trying to choose between two great options. But what if I told you there was a third option?" Nneoma's ears perked up. "What do you mean?" she asked. Emeka grinned. "I mean that you could always start your own company," he said. "You're an award-winning student, Nneoma. You have the skills and the talent to make it happen." Nneoma's mind was racing. She had never considered starting her own company before, but now that Emeka mentioned it, it seemed like a possibility. "Wow, Emeka," she said. "I think you might be onto something." Emeka smiled. "I knew you'd see it my way," he said. Nneoma spent the rest of the day brainstorming business ideas with Emeka. They threw around concepts, from a tech consulting firm to a mobile app development company. As the sun began to set, Nneoma had an epiphany. "I've got it," she exclaimed. "We can start a company that provides affordable tech solutions to small businesses and entrepreneurs." Emeka's eyes lit up. "That's a great idea," he said. "There's definitely a market for that." Nneoma nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. She knew that starting a business wouldn't be easy, but she was ready for the challenge. "I'm going to do it," she said, looking at Emeka. "I'm going to start my own company." Emeka grinned. "I'm with you all the way," he said. Nneoma and Emeka spent the next few days researching and developing a business plan. They identified their target market, outlined their services, and created a financial projection. As they worked, Nneoma's excitement grew. She had always dreamed of starting her own business, and now it was finally becoming a reality. But as they delved deeper into the plan, Nneoma began to realize the challenges they would face. They would need to secure funding, build a team, and compete with established companies. Emeka seemed to sense her doubts. "We can do this, Nneoma," he said. "We just need to believe in ourselves and our idea." Nneoma nodded, feeling a surge of determination. She was ready to face whatever challenges came their way. With their business plan in hand, Nneoma and Emeka began to pitch their idea to potential investors. They attended networking events, met with venture capitalists, and even presented to a group of angel investors. At first, the responses were lukewarm. Some investors expressed interest, but others dismissed their idea as too risky or too competitive. But Nneoma and Emeka refused to give up. They refined their pitch, gathered more data, and practiced their presentation until it was flawless. And then, one day, they received an email from a prominent venture capital firm. They wanted to schedule a meeting to discuss Nneoma's business idea. Nneoma's heart skipped a beat as she read the email. This could be the breakthrough they had been waiting for. The day of the meeting arrived, and Nneoma was nervous, but prepared. She and Emeka had rehearsed their pitch countless times, and they were confident in their ability to convince the investors. As they entered the conference room, Nneoma was struck by the panel of investors seated before her. They were all successful businesspeople, with a keen eye for opportunity. Nneoma took a deep breath and began her pitch. She presented their business plan, highlighted their unique value proposition, and demonstrated their potential for growth. The investors listened intently, asking pointed questions and probing for weaknesses. But Nneoma and Emeka were well prepared, and they addressed each concern with confidence and poise. As the meeting drew to a close, Nneoma felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had given it her all, and now it was up to the investors to decide. Nneoma and Emeka left the meeting feeling hopeful. They had presented their best case, and now it was up to the investors to decide. As they waited for the decision, Nneoma couldn't help but feel a sense of anxiety. This was it, the moment of truth. Finally, the email arrived. Nneoma's heart skipped a beat as she opened it and read the message. Dear Nneoma and Emeka, the email began. We are pleased to inform you that we have decided to invest in your company. Nneoma screamed with excitement, pumping her fist in the air. Emeka grinned, patting her on the back. We did it! Nneoma exclaimed. We actually did it! Nneoma and Emeka celebrated their victory with a night out on the town. They went to a fancy restaurant where they feasted on fine food and wine. As they sat at the table, laughing and joking, Nneoma felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had worked hard for this moment, and it felt amazing to have achieved her goal. Emeka raised his glass in a toast. To us, he said. To our success and to our future. Nneoma clinked her glass against his, smiling. To us, she echoed. With the investment secured, Nneoma and Emeka were able to take their business to the next level. They hired a team of talented developers, designers, and marketers and set up a sleek and modern office. As they worked to build their company, Nneoma and Emeka encountered new challenges and obstacles. But they were determined to succeed, and they worked tirelessly to overcome each hurdle. Their hard work paid off, and soon their company was thriving. They landed big clients, launched successful products, and received accolades from the industry. Nneoma and Emeka had achieved their dream, and they were living proof that with hard work, determination, and a great idea, anything is possible. Months later, Nneoma and Emeka were invited to an award ceremony where they would be recognized for their outstanding achievement in the tech industry. As they walked onto the stage, Nneoma felt a sense of pride and humility. She was grateful for the recognition, but she knew that the real reward was the impact they were making in people's lives. The MC handed them a trophy, and Nneoma and Emeka held it aloft, basking in the applause and adoration of the crowd. This was just the beginning of their journey, and Nneoma knew that there were many more challenges and triumphs ahead. The award ceremony was a surreal experience for Nneoma. She had never imagined that she would be recognized in such a grand way. As she walked off the stage, trophy in hand, she felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. The days that followed were a whirlwind of media appearances, interviews, and congratulatory messages. Nneoma's phone was flooded with calls and texts from friends, family, and even strangers who had been inspired by her story.